learning something new on here every day. This is cool.
Yeah. If you've got a question that's not relevant and you're like, okay, I've got to remember to ask this, just go to chat or Q&A. I'm going to mute you for a second. Q&A or chat, and you can just text that. And then when we go through reading those chats, we can answer them. But this is an interactive class. That means you ask questions as we go. Ask us to show you again if you need to. This is totally for you to learn. And if you've got a dog with you, or even if you have a stuffed animal, you could do that and just practice your skills in front of us so that we can help. Class will end. We'll try to get it all done in an hour. And again, like Julie said earlier, it is recorded. So anything else, Julie?
Nope. All good.
The last thing is that we are doing all of these classes for free at no cost to you guys as students and as class participants before. But the one thing that you can do that Joanna did a great job today is share as many to many people, social media, so that we can kind of go as wide as possible. We are taking donations for people that are not in our program if they'd like to donate, if they have a job and they want to donate, but we are really working hard and trying to get a lot of content out there. So this is our 4th class. We've got one more starting on Saturday, so 5 classes. Be patient today. This is the first time we're doing this format of having you practice with your dog, and then we're practicing with these dogs that are here. So it's all trial and error, right?
Yeah. That was going to be my next point, is just this is the first class of the interaction. So as much as Yo is a tech wizard and I am learning very quickly, just bear with us through the ups and downs.
All right. So let's dive deep. So you're here for the Canine Good Citizen Prep class. It is an AKC title. The prep class is to get you prepared for the test. Sorry, guys. To get you prepared for being tested. We can do the test later. We used to test at the park, but for right now, we just want to make sure you guys have those skills down, and then we can test your dog.
All right, I'm gonna go through how to set up this practice space. So for your practice space, we want you to be in a wider area that you can set it up so I can see you and your dog. It doesn't have to be your perfect face or your hands. I basically just want to see your waist down with your dog, so that we can help you adjust in that way. Using an iPhone or an iPad, turn it horizontally so that we can see the wide angle instead of the up and down, the portrait like Joanna has. You'll just turn your phone to the side for me. If you're inside, place the camera in an area that you can step back. So you want to have at least maybe like 10 feet behind you so that you can step back so you can see a wider angle. And then choose a well-lit, relatively quiet space. I know it's the middle of the day. There's people coming in and out. It's lunchtime. So do what you can, but we just like to be able to see you guys. So that's a perfect space for you, Carla. I know Joanna's kind of looking around where she could set up.
She's like, it's her lunch hour.
Go ahead and grab some training. If you're going to do this with your dog, which there's only 4 of us, so we might as well all participate with our dogs. Have your training treats. If you need any suggestions, there's some of our favorites on our page. Have your treat pouch or some deep pockets. So girl pockets do not work because they're like this tiny. If you have some guy cargo shorts, those work sometimes, or a big jacket. I want you to go ahead and grab your harness and standard leash to put on your dog, and a water bottle if you have one. If not, we're gonna improvise. But if you have an empty water bottle, this would be a great time to grab that, and a handful of kibble or crunchy treats. So we're gonna pause for about 2 minutes. I'll let you go ahead and get all your supplies ready, and then we'll be back in just a second. Is that you too, Yo? So, yo, mute one of the computers because I'm getting a little feedback here.
Yep. I don't have a cursor, so can you mute me?
You have to promote me. Because I'm not a host, I'm just a participant. I'm a co-host now. Okay, cool. Yep, you're muted on one of them, so that's perfect. All right, ladies, y'all ready to go? Joanna, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Almost. I had to give my husband my work computer in case I get any notifications. And I do have a meeting at 2, so I'll have to jump off like right at like a couple minutes before.
We'll be done by then. You're all good. So this is the overview of the CGC test. So these are 1 through 10. There are 10 parts to the test. You must complete all 10 items. So you don't get a rounding up 9 out of 10. You have to do all 10 items and pass. You may redo each test once. So if you mess up and it doesn't go your way, you can redo it one more time. But if you don't pass, nothing happens. You're allowed to take it as many times as you want, as many places as you want. So don't worry if you mess up that day, where there are going to be plenty of opportunities. We cannot use treats during the test. We are going to use them to practice because it is an effective way to speed up your dog's processing. But eventually we're going to add some more duration because we cannot use treats during the test. You are also not allowed to pull or push on your dog at all during the test. The leash must be completely loose, but you are allowed to praise them. So praise is a great reinforcement to go ahead and start, incorporating in your low distraction areas. Your dog cannot use the bathroom during the test if it's inside. If it's outside, I mean, dogs are going to be dogs. That's their bathroom automatically. But if the test is held inside, your dog has to wait until the very end to go. They may not snap, growl, or lunge at another dog or a participant during the test. So wherever you are, whether it's in your neighborhood or around other dogs, your dog should be under your control at all times.
Sorry.
That's okay. So today you can kind of see we're going to go over test number 3 and number 6 because these are sort of the easiest. We're not going to go in order because the difficulty doesn't increase with the test number. It's just all kind of random. We're going to go over appearance and grooming. This is, once your dog is CGC certified, it also certifies you as an owner that you are a responsible and careful pet owner that maintains grooming and veterinary practices. That's the point of this particular test. And then the sit and down on cue. We just want to know that your dog can do that out in public as well as staying in place. So we're going to go through each one of those. The test 6 is in 2 parts. So you have to show us a sit, a down, and then the stay in a sit or a down. So we can go ahead to the next slide.
Can you hear me okay?
So
I'm gonna take that inside.
Oh, Sebastian.
I'm gonna let Yo.
He just called me.
Why?
I don't know. I think he said change the bulbs.
Oh.
Okay, we're gonna mute. Yeah. I'm gonna let Yo go over the training methods and tools here. These are the 4 training methods that our company uses. Joanna, you've heard this speech before, but we're gonna show a little video about it.
So we're gonna, hold on, all right, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I don't have any hearing, so I have to go fix that in a second, but we're gonna show in the video luring. We're gonna show shaping and targeting to teach a new behavior. So those are the 3 methods. We also do capturing, but for this CGC test and for our trick class, we're going to really focus on those 3 methods. So luring means treat to the nose and you're guiding the dog into position, right? We typically, if we're doing a luring, we're going to try to use our 2 pointing fingers and have our pointing finger out and use our middle finger and our thumb to hold the food. And we're going to guide the dog into position. And then we're going to take that food and we're going to place it in the palm of our hand and do the same behavior. And then eventually we're going to get rid of the food and all the dog sees is the finger. So that's how luring works. You can still use a clicker to mark behavior and then reinforce the behavior once your dog is done. So it's lure, mark, reward. Same as some of our other methods. Capturing, we have a short little video here to show capturing. It means that we're going to, actually I didn't do a video of capturing, but capturing is like if your dog has some natural talent, like if you wanted to capture your dog turning left or right, you know, there was a set of birds that fly over and your dog looks, you can actually be ready. You can say, well, I'm going to try to see what my dog does. And you can literally mark that little turn and the dog goes, ooh, I just got a click. And then they'll take food and a few seconds later, they try to figure out how that click came to, or that mark came to happen. So they'll, you know, start testing other things. So your dogs that have been using a clicker, they're the type of dog that's going to be like, oh, what did I do? Let me try. Was it this? Was it this? So you're going to notice that with capturing, you can capture some of the natural things that your dog does. Shaping, we're going to have in this video here. Shaping is where we have a goal behavior that we want to get your dog to learn. And so we're going to present an object, or we're going to stand next to something, and we're going to wait for any movement, including eye contact, towards that object or wherever we're standing, and we're going to mark that. And each repetition, we're going to increase criteria until we get to the end behavior, which is our goal. And then at that point, we can add a name to it. So you'll notice with shaping, the dogs that have gone through this process, just in a little bit, we actually did a live shaping with this little pillow with Bentley. And he did not know what we wanted him to do, but he ended up, you know, putting his paw on it. But for one repetition, he did do his nose. So some rules about shaping is that we want to keep the dog interested. So we're always going to, at the beginning, we're going to just mark for almost anything. And then lastly, this is for both of you that have dogs in our program and have used our classes before. We do a lot of targeting. And in this video, we're going to show you how we do a natural paw target and we turn it into 2 other cues. So a natural paw target turned into a high five and a say hello cue. All right, so let me play this video.
So even though Bentley has a lot of default behaviors already ready, I want you guys to pay attention to how long Yo lets him process some of this stuff. So the luring is pretty instant, right? It's just like pulling a string on your dog's nose. He's following the treat. This is sort of cheating. You can cheat for 1 or 2, but if you maintain that practice over and over again, your dog's only going to be following that treat, just like your GPS. That's why I'm so bad at directions, is because I always use my GPS. This is the shaping. So watch how she sets it down and then waits for anything. So she clicks for him looking at it and then tosses away and gives him another chance. She clicks for him walking towards it. Then he touches it with his nose. So we don't necessarily have to have a perfect behavior. It could, eventually he's gonna, put his paw on it right there. But first, we just wanna tell him that's what we are driving you towards. You're going towards this, this toy over and over again, and I want you to show me what you can do with it. I thought he would go and put his mouth on it, but instead he went and squeaked it, and that was just as fun for him. So this is sort of what we call free shaping, giving a dog an item and then seeing what they would like to do with it.
All right, so next target training. He has already a paw target, but if a dog didn't have a paw target, we would start with just getting a regular paw target. I didn't actually have him, I didn't cue him for this. I let him just kind of present either his paw or his nose. You'll see here that I'm only clicking for the paw. So there his nose, I didn't click. I waited for the paw target because he does have a really good paw target. Now I speed this up in a little bit, but you see that I'm raising my hand a little higher and a little higher each time. It's getting higher.
But not, it's just like an inch. She's not dragging it up a full foot to make those 3 behaviors. She's going an inch at a time, an inch at a time.
And I know I sped this up, but in the next series, I changed my hand because I'm trying to get that high five. So you see me just bring my hand to a high five position. And then eventually, because he's done 8 to 9 repetitions, it's natural now that he understands that's what I want. This is the end behavior that we used targeting for. This cue is called say hello. And Indy does this as well.
Yeah, if you say hi, Indy will put his paw out. So that's a really good point as well. As a human trainer, Yo knows this. As a dog trainer, I know this. If you're putting in the repetitions, you're going to get more successes more quickly than if you go and lift one weight one time and then you go and do another exercise and come back and lift that weight one time. So have a focused training time, pick out 10 or 12 treats, do it for that amount, make some progress, and then you rest and you can always come back to it later.
All right, so we're on to the, what's next? Bonding with your dog. Just a couple rules. This is I think what we're going to do to warm up, right?
This is not the warm up, but it is a way for you to get your dog up and moving. So this is part of the warm up. This is for you to get your dog excited about training today. So I was about to say, if there's sound, you can hear me laughing like a crazy person. This was so much fun. So a lot of people will say, well, what if my dog puts their mouth on me? Or what if my dog jumps on me? Is that okay? Because we don't want him to do that normally. Your kids don't behave the same way they do on a playground in your home. So by separating playtime and training time, we really give them a healthy outlet to act a little crazy. But Bentley looks like he's done, and then he's gonna run and he's gonna pounce on her. So he's got his mouth out, he's jumping on her, but it's okay because this is no rules time for just a little while, for just a few minutes.
If you can. If you can't, then you could use toys, but highly recommend doing some dog-like movements and engage with your dog so that they want to bond with you and then they want to listen. So now when you go back to training, they're like, yes, right? All right.
So for a couple of minutes, go ahead and get your dog up and just push them around, get them excited, try to play with them with just your body. We're all gonna do this with our dogs. I'm gonna bring my dog over here and I'm gonna do it for a couple of minutes too. So grab your dog, get excited. I don't know if Ranger's back, but if not, you can do it with him a little later, okay? Oh, come here, come here. Come here, baby.
So I'm going to mute Julie so you can just watch. Can you see Carla? So Julie's playing from her chair where Joanna is down on her knees. Totally doesn't matter. My dad can't get down on the floor, so he sits on his chair and does this kind of play. Just for a few minutes at a time. All right.
I will get down on the floor, but Opal gets a little rambunctious and she's 85 pounds. So sometimes I get tackled in the process. So it's totally okay to add a little bit of extra height. And she throws arms too, so I don't want to get smacked in the face. Yeah. All right, let's bring it on back. We have a warm up after, oh wait, we're gonna talk about marking and everything. Good job, Joanna. That was really cute.
Let Joanna keep playing, and then this slide can be more for Carla. So Indy, we use a clicker for Indy. We use a clicker for most of our school dogs. The click means you did it. Let me go grab your treat. Hold on 1 second. So it means your paycheck, you punched out. That's it. You're good. But until then, the dogs are normally working to figure out what it takes to make that click. So the timing is really got to be precise. Now, we use the clicker at the beginning to train or to focus in on a certain behavior. And then we ditch the clicker and we could use a verbal marker, or we can simply let them know by moving our hand into a treat pouch that you did it, let me grab your food, or pet, whatever it is going to be. So for hyperly focus, I would grab a clicker, or you could use like a verbal marker. And I think Indy's verbal marker is just the yes.
Yeah.
All right.
You need to say it every single time he does what you want him to do. If he's doing what you want him to do, and can you just treat him, or should you say yes?
The marker is more for when you're working on something. So let's say you're out for a walk and you go, Indy, sit, because you're going to go across the street. You could just simply give him praise. You could say, oh, good boy, especially if it's easy. You can also, you're going to notice, and this is how you're going to make the transition. This motion of feeding him is the same motion of petting. So it's really easy to switch from feeding to petting and getting in, especially if he's got like a certain spot, or if your dog has a certain spot that they like.
He does.
So it's really easy. But anytime you ask permission for your dog to do something, they have a choice. So reward them some way by giving praise, a petting, just a verbal nod or something. You don't always have to feed. And now that he's really, or some of these dogs have really advanced, you want to kind of hold off on the food, especially the higher, like treats versus kibble. You want to hold off that so that when you go into training, he goes back into training mode versus like, just having fun.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So we usually use the marker when we're teaching a new skill, when we're trying to do a lot of repetitions.
Okay.
So this is just mechanics. You're seeing that Julie keeps her hands really still. So when you're working on something for precision, or like when you're working at a distance, you really want to be mindful of what the rest of your body's doing, because dogs that are looking for their click or their mark, they're really in tune to you. So it's important that you're kind of still until they hear that mark, and then you can, relax and move and go towards your food.
Right, and we've seen a lot of times with Indy, right, if your hand is in the treat bag too soon, he releases himself because he's like, oh, there's my food.
I get it, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So keeping your hands really still helps him focus on you instead of your hands.
All right, so here is your warm up. Warm up, we're going to warm up with a nose target, right? Is that what we're doing? Mm-hmm. Okay. So the mark, like a clicker or a verbal marker. What?
Go back. You switch the slide. Yeah, there you go.
No, it's the same slide. I just paused it. All right, anyways, let me see what this does. So you're going to warm up with a few touches. You're going to say touch. You're going to present your hand, and touch, present your hand. So here I did 2 behaviors in a row, and instead of marking and treating, I asked for another behavior at the same time that I would normally mark and treat. So Joanna, you know this for the behavior chain? It's just like that. So touch, present your hand. Soon as his nose touched my hand, I said the other behavior, which was also touch, and presented this hand. So it's giving him more movement, you're able to do more behaviors in less amount of reinforcement. So it's just a touch, touch. And so for your warm up today, we're doing a touch, mark, get. So it's touch, yes, and toss the food for get. So I say get before I toss the food. Yes, get, and toss.
And in my private sessions, this is my #1 warm up. For any dog, it's so simple. It just gets their attention back on you. It practices a little bit of targeting, and it gets the wiggles out, because sometimes they're so excited about training that they're still really wiggly. It's hard for them to sit still. So this is a really great way. And for indoor exercise, if you don't want to go out 10 times a day, you could make your dog run a full mile if you did this, 100 times.
But be mindful of the surface. I do have this carpet here. It's, it's a cheapie. I use this just so I can have something that he can put his paws on that are, he's 6 years old, and that wood floor of that constant impact can really play a toll on him. So to warm up, let's go ahead and get up with your dogs. You're going to use a touch, present your hand, mark it, and then toss the treat. If you have a yoga mat, toss the treat onto your yoga mat. So Julie, you going?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Oh, come.
Let me see if Bentley will want to do this.
Yeah, good girl. This is my kitchen. You ready, Opal? Ready? Get, touch. Yes. Get. Touch. Yes. Get. Touch. Touch. Yes. Touch. Yes. Get. You get lost? Yes. Get. Okay. Go to bed. Touch. Yes. Get. Ready? Settle. All right.
How'd they do, Carla?
I'm sure they would do great if they were here, but they're not here.
Okay.
That's your backyard. I'm gonna mute you, Carla, because I think Joanna, because we can hear the birdies in your yard. Just real quick. That's okay. No, don't worry about it. So this is the test number 6. So the first 2 parts of the test number 6 are, you have to be able to demonstrate that your dog can sit on cue and down on cue. Just those 2 simple things. They just need to be able to sit and down. But it becomes more complicated when we add more distractions and new environments, and the test is often held in a public space or around other people and dogs. So while it sounds a lot easier, putting it out into the actual test is going to be a little more difficult. So we'll go ahead and show our video. Oh, I did put on the bottom pro tip. During the test, you are not allowed to pull on the leash to make your dog sit. You're not allowed to use food to lure them or touch the dog. I see a lot of people touch butts to get them to sit. You are not allowed to touch, feed, or pull your dog into position.
Julie, this video is how to advance the sitting down, adding the 3Ds. You want me to show that, or you want them to go have Joanna just do a sit and a down for 60 seconds?
Joanna, do 5 sits and 5 downs, and we're gonna start talking about the 3Ds in a second. So how you do multiple sits is you're gonna have her sit, you'll toss to release, sit, toss to release, making sure you're marking each time. But do maybe 5 in a row of the sit and then 5 in a row of the down. Sit.
Yes, get it.
So is her release get?
I'm doing get it when I toss the treat.
Is after you're done with her sit, what's her release word?
I'm marking the sit just with a yes, but and then okay. So would it be yes, all done, or because all done is her release word?
Right.
Yeah, it would be yes, all done, then toss the treat.
Yes,
Okay.
all done, get, then toss the treat.
Okay. Tina, sit. Yes. All done. Get.
Nice.
So she's rewarding when the dog is done, which is a little more advanced. That's rewarding just the release. At the beginning, Carla, you might I know that Indy's got a really good sit, but you might want to treat to the mouth and then release and then progress from there.
Okay.
So she's not, sorry, go ahead, Julie.
Joanna, this time do 5 downs, but I want you to treat her when she goes down and treat the release, just to show off, okay?
Okay.
So she goes down, you'll mark it, treat between the paws, then all done.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes, treat in between the paws to keep her down, and then she'll release her.
All done. Get.
Why is she, I have a question. Why is she throwing the treat to get? Why isn't she just giving it to, why are we doing get? Like after, like down, okay, all done.
Yeah.
Then get, why get? Why not just treat the sitting down? I'm just wondering.
Yeah. So the sitting down is the easy part. The dog is being treated for doing that. In order for your dog to really understand that the cue release is, being said, she's helping that release word. Technically, she could just say release or whatever her release cue is and wait 2 seconds to see if the dog comes up. And then if it does, you would mark that and you would not have to toss as far like with the get. But we want to reset the dog so that we can do more repetition. So that's why.
Got it.
Yeah. That's why we toss the food.
Okay.
So you also don't have to like she's using get as in I'm tossing it quite a bit farther. Carla, you can always just drop it a couple of inches to get them up. So you don't have to go into a full get to go retrieve. We just want to get them up. So if you just want to.
Okay.
Let me try one with Bentley because I mark just the release and then I'll feed him right to his mouth when he stands up. So I'll just show you another version of it.
Okay.
That. She's outside though, so she has a little more room to toss the food for her dog. All right, let's make sure we can see. Can you guys see everyone again?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And then here's just Yo.
Let me get him up for a second. Can you see me?
Yes, we can see you.
Bentley. Yes.
So treat to the mouth.
For sitting.
Okay. Yes.
So then she said okay, and he moved on his own, and she rewarded that. So part of we're going to get into the next slide. If Yo will click into the next slide for me. We're going to get into adding duration and distance and distractions. So those 3 Ds, duration, distance, distraction, are what we use to build on any skill, whether it's targeting, sitting, down. So this is how you're going to add duration. You're going to take one of those Ds, duration, distance, down, and work on it at a time. So this is adding duration. I'm going to take a small, or actually I'm feeding right in a row. So he goes into a sit and I'm giving him 3 treats right away. And then I'm delaying it a little bit.
So the reason why you do 3 treats in a row is we want to pay the dog before they even think of getting up. If you are, and again, this is like, we're going back a lot of steps. Indy and and I'm sure Zena are already experts at this, but like when we're first starting out, when we want duration, it's treat, treat, treat. So the dog is waiting, anticipating more food, they stay put. So duration first.
Now we're adding a little bit of distance. I'm working the clock. So I'm taking one step back or one step to the side, and I'm coming back to that home base that I always talk about, the feet in front of your dog, coming back home base. So I'm going slow, slow, quick back to catch him before he gets up. So it's just like a waltz. You go slow, slow, quick, quick. Slow, slow, quick, quick. Okay?
And you can't see it, but her hand isn't in the treat pouch until she's moving back towards the dog. So if your dog gets up before you make it back, make a mental note and see where your hands are. I guarantee you they're probably in the treat pouch and your dog's anticipating food, so they get up. So here we have Julie adding distractions. Each dog has a different set of distractions that are relevant to your dog. So Joanna sent a video the other day of her using the tennis ball, and then another ball as a reinforcement. So whether you exercise and you want your dog to be okay with that, or if you've got soccer practice with the grandkids or kids, you're going to have distractions that are relevant to that, so that your dog can go through, sit down, whatever the behavior it is, with those type of distractions and be okay with it. Now, this one was really hard for a lot of dogs, dropping a tennis ball right in front of a dog. But with practice, your dog can.
The other two were really down though. So I had the distraction of the ball, but the duration, as soon as I dropped that ball, I rushed back to him to treat it. I also was very close to him. So the more distance or the more distraction you have, the less distance. And duration. Right.
You really want to work on the 3Ds separately. So if you're doing distractions, you're right next to your dog. If you've got another dog walking by, you're next to your dog. Then you can, once they master the 3Ds separately, then you can start to go 2 of the Ds. So you could be 6 feet away and toss a ball. Got it? All right.
So this is the third part of the test, is the next slide. Is the next slide, yeah, is this sit down stay. So on the test, you must put your dog in a sit stay, walk to the end of a 20-foot line, come all the way back, and then release your dog. So your dog cannot get up when you walk back, or they may change their position. You can put them in a sit or a down, wherever they're most comfortable, but they need to stay in position. Even if they get up and shift, as long as they don't take steps forward, it's still a pass.
You can also talk your dog over the edge. No, you could talk your dog throughout the entire process. Oh, good boy, you're doing it. Good job, good girl. You can also use hand gestures. So you can even walk backwards. You don't have to turn around and walk away to 20 feet and then turn around. That's really hard for a lot of dogs. Your dogs can do that. I've seen them, but for test wise, all you're trying to do is pass the test. You're not trying to show off. So you do want to go back really slowly. And, the other thing is where you're going back, you want to look behind you. If we're testing in the park, you want to see, is there a skateboard going by? Because you're allowed to go at any angle when it comes to stepping back 20 feet and back. We don't have to tell you. So you don't want their tunnel, their eye vision to go towards other dogs. You really want to find a place where they can focus on you.
Right. Or squirrel or cat. If there's something behind you, it's going to ruin their stay. So we want to keep their eye line on you and relatively free of distraction.
So we will tell you once you hit the 20-foot mark, we will tell you when to go, when to come back. You stay there until we say whatever until you're done. The other thing is the difference between stay and wait. You're going to learn a little bit later. We do the wait. The stay for these practices means I'm coming back to you, and we use wait meaning I will call you when you're done. All right.
So wait is a pause. Stay is a stop. Is a I will come back to you and tell you when you can go.
All right, so let's do a live demo. Joanna, Julie, you want to practice this one? So it's a sit, and you're going to walk back, talking your dog through. My dog is done. He's just.
Opal was asleep by the door. I just had to wake her up. Come here, Opal. There's my girl. All right, so I have linoleum floors. I'm also using a mat because my dog has a fluffy butt. So she will slide around unless I put something on the ground. So there's a mat you can't see underneath the table. So sit.
Joanna, you're doing a sit, stay, walking back, you know, increments. If you want to just train it, you can come back, you know, go out, come back, or you can.
You can't see Opal. There you go. Now you can see Opal Blossom. Go.
So at the beginning, Carla, you'll be working just stepping back, coming back, stepping away, coming back. You won't try to go the entire 20 feet at first until you guys have.
Actually, that.
Perfect.
Yeah, we did it. We did it in our transfer session.
Yeah. We've been practicing it. He's pretty good.
Now now that you've accomplished that step, you can start to go in a different direction. So instead of just
we've been trying that.
Oh, good. Yeah, great.
Like around the corner.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, good job, good job, good job. All right, let's get through the next couple slides because I think we're starting to run out of time.
Joanna's still going. Joanna's on.
Ooh, good job, Joanna.
Yeah. Great. Oh, that's good. Very good. All right, very good.
So this next one is enrichment. We'll just ask you guys to do this at home on your own time. I've been trying to come up with, this is the next steps to it, sorry. So when you're practicing anything, you want to take it from the inside of the house to the outside of the house, and then you're going to add more and more. So at first we did this with Bentley inside, and then we took it upstairs, which is Yo's backyard. So
real quick, everyone's inside of the house you want to start where they're most comfortable. So I've got one client that the inside of the house is just chaos. So her training area is her backyard. So yeah, she's good. All right. So inside, a little bit outside, front yard, backyard, couple houses down, and then somewhere else. So front or backyard.
Sorry, Opal's snoring.
So this is called generalizing it. This is the level where we pass the transfer session on to our clients if they're a school dog, because now we know that 2 or 3 different trainers can do it. We know for sure as long as we teach the parents, they can do it as well. So taking it on the road means that you're in a new environment or with a new person and they're still doing it. You've got to
upstairs out into the grass was the next advance, and then the most advanced, I think we got all the way up to 15 feet out here, and then the most advanced for Bentley, the most difficult was the beach, right? So this is really like level 12 out of 10. It's very hard to do this on the beach
because this is where he plays every day in the morning. This is his play area. All right.
So even though Bentley knows this behavior, I still did a warm up. I still did 1-2 step coming back because I want him to know that we're not playing, we're working. This is the enrichment activity. So I've been like, I'm stuck at home. So I'm just piecing through all of my stuff to figure out what I can put food in and my dogs can play with. So last night it was this water bottle. You can make it really, really difficult by just having the top off and making them, the other night she spun the bottle and all the treats flew out and under the couch and everywhere. But this time I made it a little bit easier for her because I put a lot in there, and I put a hole. You can see there's a hole that she's rolling to dump things out. So that's how you make it a little bit easier if it's your dog's first time, or you can make it as difficult as you want. So tonight, grab a water bottle, go ahead and do, practice this with your own dog, and try not to help them, try not to step in, and see how they solve it. Because Bentley picks it up and shakes it out. Opal spins it or paws it or throws it around until the food comes out. And then some dogs will sit there and just spin it nonstop. So we want to know what your dog does with it, not what
And
our
if you
dog.
think about the training methods we mentioned earlier, all those different ways is them trying and testing their mouth, their paws, their nose, and developing those skills at a much higher level. So if they do hit the jackpot because they use their teeth, it might be something that they go to next time when we present an object.
And then the very, this is, I think, test number 3 on the test, is appearance and grooming. So the evaluator needs to be able to brush your dog with their own brush. It's not a special brush or anything. We just need to be able to run the brush along them, as well as examine their ears and their paws, just like they would at the vet or a groomer.
So we break this up into 2 steps. Step 1, when you're first working on a new body part, whether it's the nose, the eyes, the ears, the teeth, or just the brush or nails, you want to treat first and then touch the place. After they're comfortable with that, then you're going to touch the same place and then feed, because that's a little bit easier for us, right? Instead of having to hold. So in this video, I always show both. So here is me feeding while I'm brushing, or presenting it down on the bed and then brushing. But I actually cut Bentley's hair. I can do his nails. I can do a Dremel, like everything, because I've trained him since he was young to be accepting of touch. And he gets groomed. I just gave him a little haircut. I know you can't tell yesterday, but he's just like, oh. So step 2, you do it first. So here I'm touching his ears. And one little note is, if your dog backs up, it's his cue to you to let go. So we do want to respect that space. If he were to tell me, hey, stop, I need to respect that. Otherwise it will advance. His behaviors will advance and escalate to possibly growling, barking. So be respectful of that. Even if you grab his, if you grab his paws and he pulls back, say okay, and then next time maybe just barely touch his paw or pretend to hover over it instead, and then pay him. Yep. And you want to apply more pressure each time when you're practicing this.
So there she just took the scissors and just made the noise near his paw. So you can do the same with clippers. If you make the noise close to their paw, that's a great first step to getting closer and closer and closer. This makes your vet happier. This makes your groomer happier. This makes life at home a lot easier when you have to do it yourself. So it's a great thing to settle them down at the end of the day. So
I don't see Joanna on here anymore. Do you?
I think she had to hop off for work.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, I'm still here. I don't know why it stopped my video, but I'm still here.
So if you want to take the last 2 minutes and just do some husbandry with your dog while we talk you through the pup homework, just to practice that. Even the teeth, going in there and showing the teeth, but try either treating first and then touch, or touch first and then treat, depending on where you're at with that.
Definitely. So your homework this week, for all of those watching, we will be posting this slide up so that you can submit up to 2-minute videos for feedback, as well as please make sure you're on our private Facebook group, because we'll be updating times and putting class notes on there as well. So practicing sit and down with release, or adding in that stay if you really feel that's necessary. Seeing how many steps you can get back. So Carla, you're going to practice this in your regular training space. You're going to go out in the front yard, and then I want you to see if you can take it out to the beach. See how many steps that you can get under those 3 Ds.
Use the leash.
Yeah, use the leash, big time. Make sure that you have that. Handling and brushing at least 1 meal per day. I want you guys to grab the meal, your kibble or just food for dogs or Stella and Chew, and use this to feed your dog while you brush and handle them in the evening or in the morning. It's up to you.
And once they're okay with you doing it, then if you can ask someone else in the house, because the evaluator has to come and do that to your dog. So it's not just comfortable with you. You can take them through the same process. You can say feed first and then touch, but
and then you're going to try a new enrichment feeder. So whether it's the water bottle or you're going to come up with another household item, you're going to submit a little video or a picture of how your dog chose to solve your puzzle. And then continue to follow, like, share our social media. Definitely, Carla, you have 1 million dogs in your neighborhood and not all of them are the best behaved. So if you take Indy out there and you show off, make sure to mention, hey, you know, my dog is a genius because he has the best trainers in the world. What? Oh, they already asked you. Oh, nice.
They watch him. So he draws so much attention just because he's so adorable and he's so well behaved.
But you guys
so
also
young.
Put the time and the practice and the care in your house. You've done so much management. It's definitely not all us. He has great genetics, great environment.
90% you.
But yeah, take cute pictures of him and show off. You know, Indy's skills are really remarkable, so we love to use him for anything and everything, but especially in your neighborhood. Encourage your neighbors. They have enough time right now to, you know, maybe up their dog's game.
Yeah.
That was very good.
Yeah. Sounds good. I definitely will.
Great job, Joanna. That was good. Very good.
Thank you. She's been pretty good with that, but she was recently diagnosed with PANIS, or the eye disease. So I have to put
eye drops.
It's an autoimmune deficiency, so I have to put now drops and like a thick paste into her eyes twice a day. So and she's doing great with that.
Good. And that's the reason why you do this, because later on as they get older, they are going to need medication. So a good chin, I do a nice little chin cue, and then you can touch her eyes. So chin, eyes. So, well, thank you guys so much. We appreciate all of your support, and looking forward to uploading this video. If you haven't done so already, please register for our trick class this Saturday. That's just going to be fun.
That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. We've got 5 of us that are going to be online as the teachers at the same time. So it's going to be pretty big group of people that have registered so far. And we're global. We've got some clients out in Michigan that signed up, and Arizona. So that should be really fun.
Yeah. Thanks for coming up with this class. Will get bigger and better each week. So show off this week and come back and we'll do it again.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
You're welcome.
Bye. Thank you.